I didn't ask to be born Latina. Nomás tuve suerte. The Guyanese side of my family watching that like, oh, now you speak Spanish, mentirosa. That's foreshadowing for later. Hey sis, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do another chatting about product releases video. I literally just did one of these. There's a lot of stuff getting released right now. We are at the precipice of the holiday season. Depending on who you ask, we are already well into it. First thing I'm gonna talk about is a set of products that I actually already own. Kaleidos, which is a new-ish makeup brand on the market, has come out with a line of highlighters recently called the spaceage highlighters. Here they are. Hello highlighters. It's just very fun to hold. It's the sort of like rubberized metal tin and then the highlighters in there. I've had a couple of people ask me about this. It's very easy-ish to take the highlighter out. Let me show you. You just sort of have to like dig your fingers in at the corners. Okay, highlighter, empty tin. So you can use it for earring backs or bobby pins or condoms. Instant demonetized, whoops. This is the shade Star Surfer. It's your average, everyday, bright ass icy pink. We use the accent nail to swatch in this household. This I have to go really light with because if I go heavy with it, it is way too light on my skin. We have our little duochrome yellow moment. This is Solar Sailor. This one has my favorite packaging because I love yellow. Girl, that's pretty. Ooh. This I wore earlier today to work and it's like definitely noticeably yellow on my cheekbones. So I don't consider it the most flattering on my cheekbones. I haven't yet used it on the inner corner of the eye, but I know that it would slap. We have a duochrome blue moment with Skywalker. It's a little flaky, it's a little powdery. There's definitely more kick up with this one than the other ones. But my goodness, it's lovely. These are really, really smooth. Next up, we have Comet Catcher, which is a really bright pink shift. I love how I say really bright. It's like a light bright pink, but it's definitely there. Second to last one, and this is probably the most like everyday wearable one, especially for someone with darker skin. Ray Rider, which looks like this. It's sort of your average run-of-the-mill peach highlighter. This I wore to work yesterday. Yeah, that's like a very standard highlighter, like your most sort of natural Jaclyn Hilly highlighter. More foreshadowing! I am your English teacher. Last up, we have, I would say, like the most standout, the breakout star of the collection, if you will. This is Laser Glazer, and it is a duochrome brown green. Yup, there she is. I wore this as an eyeshadow topper the other day, and here's what that looked like. So those are the 6. I'm really pleased with those. I think they're really cute. There's something really, I don't know, satisfying about holding this little rounded square with this little like rubberized metal. I really like it. I like that it's a tin. I'm definitely gonna use these for more things if I ever decide to depot these highlighters, or God forbid I actually finish them up. We turn the lights back up. Am I the studios that brought you the Minions movies and Despicable Me? Because we've got some illumination. We're going to return to a dialogue that I've brought up a couple times on my channel, which is how to cope when your favorite celebrity comes out with a makeup line or a collab and your little stan heart starts going pitter patter. How do you resist the temptation to buy everything because Kylie Jenner or Jeffree Star or Rihanna or Kylie Minogue is putting on a makeup line? I've been sitting way up on my high horse being like, just resist it. There are other ways to support your favorite artists. You don't have to buy makeup from them. I'm not like other girls. I've never spent money in my life. All the makeup I have, I grew out back in my garden with my own 2 hands. Sephora? I hardly know her. Made me really dizzy, God. But now, I'm looking that gift horse directly in the mouth because Kesha is collaborating with HipDot to bring us Kesha Beauty, a collaboration collection curated by Kesha with little Kesha themed products. I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but I love Kesha Rose Siebert, and I have since the very first time I heard the song TikTok way back in 2009. All of her music sticks like grits, and I'm 100% rooting for Kesha and all of her exploits in life. That being said, first of all, we don't really know what this makeup line looks like. I just know that there's a red lipstick involved, there's a lip gloss set involved, there's an eyeshadow palette involved. Basically, I'm bringing this up because I need to remind myself of the advice I have already put out into the internet. Just because you love a celebrity does not mean you need to buy something that they're selling you. The next thing I'm gonna talk about, because people yelled at me for not talking about it in my last chatting about product releases video, which is this beautiful, huge collection from Melt Cosmetics. thanks. This is the Amor Eterno collection, celebrating the Mexican heritage of the founder of Melt Cosmetics. There are two eyeshadow palettes, the Vida palette and the Muerte palette. There is a beautiful highlighter. Melt's highlighters look absolutely gorgeous. I would buy one for myself, but they're $1 million. We have a set of liquid lipsticks that I don't care about because I hate liquid lipstick. A set of gel liners that I don't care about because I hate gel eyeliners. The Muerte palette especially, I feel like is an underutilized shade range, to be sure. You don't often see really smoky jewel tones like this. It's gorgeous. The message behind it is beautiful. Reading the intention that the founder put into creating this collection is lovely. Whenever people in like small beauty YouTube, because we're a bunch of harpies who hate everything, talk about how makeup lines will put out products without any real intention behind them and just put them out as a cash grab, this is the opposite of that. This has intention, this has creativity, this has drive behind it, this has a purpose.
The intelligence that has, the clearance that has, the access that has.
Props. Melt. Now that I complimented you guys so much, can you guys send me the radioactive palette, please? It's so pretty. That does remind me of something. I am not reading Reddit threads about myself anymore. My last chatting about product releases video got posted on the sub. Somebody was like, more skits, because I did a ColourPop skit in my last video, and someone commented to them and they were like, well, it worked last time. She got PR from Tarte. Mostly it made me laugh because I was like, first of all, the video that Tarte sent me PR in response to was like the 5th time I had done a sketch on my channel. Also, and I tweeted about this, can you imagine if every single time I wanted PR from a brand, I like wrote a full skit? Like, oh, brand, I hate you so much. You're so stupid. Oh, you wanna send me these palettes, daddy? Just like trying to, I don't know, seduce the brands with comedy and theater. Like, what? That is so much effort. I'm just picturing like my friends asking me to come hang out and they're like, Nisa, like, what are you doing? Like, are you busy? And I'm like, yeah, I'm super busy. Can't you guys see? Well, I'm penning a one-woman show to email to Glossier, so they might look upon me with fondness and send me some of their new products, specifically their new brush tip eyeliner pen, even though it's probably just an overpriced, really subtle eyeliner, and you're probably better off just getting the NYX Epic ink liner or a trial size of the I Go Black Magic eyeliner. Thank you for thinking I have the creative stamina to create theater every single time I want free makeup from a brand. That is really thinking highly of me. I have vegan lasagna on its way to me right meow, and I am ready to tuck into it. Talking about this next brand sort of feels like talking about an ex-boyfriend, or really an ex-crush, because I've never actually owned anything from this brand, but way back last year or 2 years ago when I used to do monthly wish list videos, for some reason, this brand would always find themselves into those videos. We're gonna talk about Nabla, which is an Italian beauty brand. I don't know if you guys know this, but I used to live in Italy. I almost never bring it up though. It was super glamorous. I had a semester-long anxiety attack and I was desperate to leave. Anyway, a while ago, Nabla put out the Dreamy palette, and now they are launching the Dreamy 2 palette, which is presented beautifully. Nabla knows how to package a product. They know how to do a product shot. They know how to sell you those goods. Looking at this is dreamlike. It's gorgeous, it's stunning. These eyeshadows look heavenly. And then I started looking at them harder and I was like, Nisa, it is literally just an eyeshadow palette full of easily like 97% shimmer shades. Not that I already have these shades specifically, but do you ever look through your eyeshadow collection and you're like, wow, I have so many shimmer eyeshadows and the only real use I would have for these is to like put them on my full lid. I feel like that all the time. Every time I look at my shimmer shadows, I'm like, I wish I used this more. I have a million of you. They're just kind of hard to get use out of sometimes. And so for me at this juncture in my life, buying a palette mostly full of shimmer shadows, despite the fact that these are gorgeous shimmer shadows, that I'm not going to use on a regular basis is not the wisest thing in the world. I do want to give it its 10s though, its props. This is gorgeous, beautiful, and I'm gonna dream about it at nighttime, deep in my REM cycles. So thank you for tormenting me once again, Nabla. I will never forgive you for this, and our families will feud for generations as a result. Moving on. Zucchini stick. Well, as a beauty YouTuber, I am required by YouTube's terms of service to talk about a ColourPop eyeshadow palette in every single video. So let's talk about this new release from ColourPop, the Going Coconuts palette. I was wondering when ColourPop was going to introduce a neutrals palette, a true neutrals palette, not like a peach neutrals palette, like cooler and mid-toned browns into their 9-pan palette range, and here we are with the Going Coconuts. If I had seen this palette last year, I would have roasted it from here to tomorrow and been like, neutrals? Yawn, boring. Why isn't it a rainbow palette? Why isn't everything a rainbow palette? And now that I have worked doing eyeshadow into my daily routine for work, I'm like, oh damn, that's adorable. I love myself a good dark brown eyeshadow, especially that dark brown shimmer, that shade Da Coco, as in like, I'm in love with Da Coco. ColourPop, come on. You get somebody who's used the internet after 2014 to name the shades of your eyeshadows, please. I think this palette is adorable. I think I would get a ton of use out of it. I want to buy it. I probably won't right now because, like I said, I am rediscovering the wealth of neutral eyeshadows, including matte, medium tone, dark brown, so not too cool, not too warm, that I already have in my collection. I'm using them when I go to work in the mornings. It's very fun. It's very refreshing to go through my collection and look for things that I had previously overlooked back when I was buying eyeshadow palettes because they had like a yellow in them or a blue, and I was like, I need brights all the time. Neutrals, who wears those? The whole population? Save a small percentage of people on YouTube and Instagram who do makeup for a living? Getting back onto the point, I think this palette is really sweet and cute, and I feel like there's a ton of people that this would become an instant staple for, but I personally don't need it right now. I actually bought the Lilac You A Lot palette for a friend of mine for her birthday, and I haven't had a chance to give it to her yet, so it's just sitting on my armoire. And sometimes I look at it and I'm like, you know, you could just open this and keep it for yourself. She would never know. Like, that's the makeup goblin inside of me being like, you bought it, you keep it, it's yours. She doesn't need to know. She'll never know. Don't touch it. And it's like, no, that's ridiculous. You didn't even want this. You only want it because it is physically in your home right now. Let's address one of two elephants in the room. Let's talk about our favorite. Let's talk. I'm already laughing. Let's talk about Tarte's newly announced collab with everyone's favorite Latina, Lele Pons. I saw a couple people, a lot of people, be very critical of this choice of Lele Pons because she's cringy, she's unfunny, she's annoying, she doesn't know anything about makeup, etc, etc, etc. I looked at those criticisms and I was like, why is anybody surprised about this choice? I don't think this is that random. Lele Pons is extraordinarily successful. She has millions upon millions of child fans whose parents have money. The announcement of this collab reminded me a lot of ColourPop's collaboration with Ava Gutowski, who, like Lele Pons, is another extraordinarily successful YouTuber with hundreds of thousands of millions of child fans. I think if you took the average age of Ava Gutowski and Lele Pons' fans, you would probably walk away with maybe 10 through 12-year-olds. Like, that's kind of the age range that they attract. People are saying it's a cash grab. Of course it is. There's no functional reason for Tarte to collaborate with Lele Pons other than wanting to make a bunch of money. It's kind of like I was saying before, where the Melt collection was something that was created with creativity and intent. This is just, we have a bunch of neutral eyeshadows lying around because we're Tarte and you're famous and money. And Lele's team was like, sure, now if you'll excuse us, we have more really weirdly paced skits to put on Lele's channel. If you've never watched any of Lele Pons' like comedy skits, it's sort of like if people who had never heard of comedy tried to create it. I always laugh when people will call something that is obviously a cash grab, and act like they're uncovering this hidden truth about it that these brands won't tell you. Shh. It's like, yeah, they're a corporation. Everything they do is a cash grab. It reminds me in this weird way of when people will criticize YouTubers talking about something that is like popular and buzzworthy and say that they're only doing it because of views. Ugh, you're only talking about this because you want the views. It's like, yep, we're on a video hosting website. So if I didn't want views, wouldn't really have a purpose here, would I? Imagine applying that logic to something else. Like going up to someone in a restaurant and being like, wow, you're only eating this soup because you're hungry. I guess I don't understand the fanfare and outrage because this is pretty much business as usual for makeup brands. Should we expect more from them? I guess, but at this point, It's like, yeah, every so often a brand's gonna put out some random nonsense because they wanna make a quick buck. It's one of the most forgettable eyeshadow palettes I've ever seen. It's a neutral palette in white marble packaging. It's like literally, if you asked Siri to show you a picture of like the most marketable eyeshadow product ever, it would be an eyeshadow palette that is full of neutral tones with very aesthetically pleasing white marble packaging, made in collaboration with someone with how many followers? 37.4 million Instagram followers. Siri would be like,
oh my god, that is going to make a boatload of cash.
like, you can't get more like brand safe, marketable, guaranteed to turn a profit than this collaboration with Lele Pons. It's not possible. I can only imagine the process of the Tarte Barbaras deciding on who to collab with for this, you know, holiday launch. I think they were just in their boardroom at their giant mahogany table with a huge bulletin board full of like the most popular YouTubers listed in like order of subscribers and Instagram followers, throwing sharpened at the end biscotti sticks to the wall, and whatever picture it hit and stuck into, that's who they did the collab with. And then one lands in Lele Pons. They're like, well, how many followers does she have? 37 million? Done. Fish out some bronzes and put them in a palette with, you know, Latin names on them and just release it. It's fine. We don't even need to ask her. She won't even notice. I don't know where the Barbara's wig is. I lost it, okay? Let's talk about ColourPop's newly announced collaboration with Frozen 2, and also the fact that Disney owns everyone's brains at this point. I have almost no thoughts about these eyeshadow palettes. I've never seen Frozen. So if you love Frozen, then I guess this makes sense. But again, you can be a fan of something without buying an eyeshadow palette themed about it. Eyeshadow palettes are a lot more tangible than fond memories of something. You gotta find a place to put them. It's a perishable good, you know? It adds clutter the way that watching a movie and then thinking about it happily and maybe reading TV tropes about it afterwards doesn't. Each of these two palettes features one of ColourPop's chunky ass, non-eye safe ass glitters. Stop putting them in your palettes, ColourPop. Color stop. From what I can tell, these palettes are cardboard and not plastic like the other 9 pans. This is something that I don't want ColourPop to color stop doing. We like cardboard. I kind of swindled y'all, I'm gonna be honest. I only really brought up these palettes because I really want to talk about Disney Plus. If you don't know, Disney recently launched a streaming service, a paid streaming service called Disney Plus that has, from what I can tell, like every single Disney intellectual property ever made in the history of time. And everybody on Twitter is like, oh my god, what are we watching on Disney Plus tonight, ladies? Like, me and my man were watching Disney Plus last night, and then we prayed. I did not know this many of y'all were like closet Disney stans. This is a little jarring. I get the nostalgia, but I'm looking at these people tweeting about watching like Even Stevens and Hannah Montana and Lizzie McGuire and That's So Raven and Kim Possible and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. And I'm like, are y'all really sitting down to rewatch these entire series like the way that you would watch like Mad Men or Succession or Schitt's Creek or some other trendy show? Hey babe, where did we leave off in Phil of the Future last night? Babe, did you watch Phineas and Ferb without me last night? I honestly don't know enough about Phineas and Ferb to continue that joke. I've never seen it. Oh, yeah, right, babe. You're busted, right? Isn't that like a thing on it? I'm sorry. When it premiered, I was already like 14. I don't know. I just thought that was like funny to think about. People really seriously like watching old episodes of That's So Raven the way that they would watch like Game of Thrones. Obviously, watch whatever you want to watch. I don't have Disney Plus and I don't intend to get it because if I want to watch a Disney movie, I will like go to the library and rent it, or I will track down one of my friends who has it on DVD. And those are the only ways I ever watch movies online. Hello? The feds. I've paid for every single piece of media I've ever watched. I know you can't see me because I have a little sticker over my webcam, but I know you can hear me, so don't get it twisted. You know what's really been bothering me about the Disney Plus discourse? Where is my Dave the Barbarian hive? Where is my Brandy and Mr. Whiskers hive? Where is my Pepper Ann hive? Can we have some culture, please? I loved Dave the Barbarian. I loved that show, and they would air like 1 episode a week, maybe. They didn't give that show a chance. I was so angry. Y'all are just gonna act like Cory in the House never happened. It did happen. We're just gonna ignore PB&J Otter and Roly Poly. Y'all are talking about the same like 5 shows. Okay, there was a lot of Disney programming. Y'all talking about Disney Plus. Man, if they don't have Mike's super short show, I don't want it. They got Naturally Sadie? Huh? I really don't have a leg to stand on with criticizing people for watching old nostalgic Disney shows, because you know what I've been doing for the last like 2 weeks? Rewatching the entirety of Degrassi: The Next Generation. I don't know if my Degrassi hive is in the house. I don't know if y'all are here. Sound off in the comments if you're here. Degrassi had a hand in raising me. So I can't yell at anybody for wanting to indulge themselves in That's So Raven and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Hannah Montana and That's So The Sweet Life of Hannah Montana, because while they're doing that, I'm watching Drake get shot in a hallway again and again and again and again. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Degrassi: The Next Generation, Time Stands Still Part 2. Man, I want to watch Degrassi right now. I need to relax. I'm like so wired off of marinara sauce right now, like I need to relax. Well. We come to our final topic of conversation for this video. Here we go again. After the extraordinarily successful launch of Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics and the absolutely perfect, flawless lipsticks that came with that launch, Jaclyn Hill is once again getting on the horse's saddle and releasing some makeup. This time it is a set of highlighters, finishing luminous powders, and highlighter brushes. I don't want to do this again. I swear to God. When the original Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics drama bomb exploded, I didn't talk about it very much. I never watched Jaclyn Hill, so I didn't have that same sort of nostalgic attachment to her that some people like my friend Smokey Glow, for example, had. I think I've only seen maybe like 3 or 4 Jaclyn Hill videos in my life, and I'm pretty sure like 3 of them have been her apologizing for some horrible quality control issue. Jaclyn Hill was unilaterally canceled. Jaclyn Hill was canceled so hard that she made a whole Halloween costume out of it. As far as I'm concerned, is a really perfect, amazing way to show people that you've learned from your mistakes that they rightfully criticized you for immediately before launching something else from your brand that people are still upset about. Genius move on Jaclyn's part. You could have just been a black cat. After the disastrous first launch, Jaclyn is trying again with, like I said, this range of highlighters. I watched the release video on Jaclyn's channel earlier today at double speed because I'm not gonna watch a half hour of Jaclyn Hill trying to sell me product. Honestly, I have to say, I think these products look gorgeous. It's very much like Becca meets Hourglass. I think all of it looks great. Looks great. The lipsticks looked real great in Jaclyn's promotional video too. No one can say anything definitive about how these are or if Jaclyn Cosmetics has really learned from the disaster before until these start getting sent out. Right now, we're sort of in the calm before Schrodinger's storm. There might be a problem, there might not be a problem, and we just can't know yet. If you're watching this in the distant future of maybe 2 or so weeks from now, if all of the videos in the recommended next to this are like, Jaclyn Hill messes up again from like Tea by Alley, or Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics highlighters poison people from like the viewer's voice, then I guess we'll know how the story ended. After everything that's happened, I would be really, really wary about buying this. Jaclyn Hill is an amazing saleswoman. This girl could sell feathers to a blue jay. Watching her video, if I didn't know what I know, I would be like, yeah, girl, sign me up. Where's the mailing list? Literally tell me an amount of money and I will give it to you for these highlighters. They look amazing. Jaclyn Hill could sell salt water to Poseidon. Like, she can sell. She's like if every Bath and Body Works sales associate were the same person. Jaclyn Hill is like the final boss of sales associates. After you politely turn down all of the associates at all of the stores in the world, you turn around and Jaclyn Hill is just like looming over you, face covered in highlighter. All of her fingers are fan brushes, and she's like, girl, let me tell you, you're gonna look so stunning in this. Like, honestly, I wouldn't lie to you. Like, I wear this every day. I just want a natural glow. And like, the acrylics are growing as she's talking. Every time Jaclyn Hill lies, her acrylics grow another inch. And she's just like swatching all over your face. You're like, no, please, I don't need it and I don't trust you. And she's like, no, girl, like you're gonna look so glowing. Like I wouldn't lie to you. It's gonna be amazing. And you're just like, ah, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm curious to see where this goes. I'm curious to see who on the internet is willing to give Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics a second chance. And I'm curious, if you watched the release video that Jaclyn put out of these products, what do you think of them? Do you think they look cute? I think they look cute. I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole though, because of what I know and what I've seen and what I've experienced and the hours and hours and hours of videos I've watched of people tearing this brand apart. But I'm curious if you guys share the same opinion. So let me know. I'm just gonna real quick scroll through trend mood to make sure nothing's been released while I've been talking, because that is how quickly makeup works. Yeah, no, just Kylie Jenner's Christmas collection, which I literally can't even bring myself to have an opinion about, so I guess we're done. Thank you so much for watching my video, but before you leave, I'm gonna need you to do a quick favor for me. If you could go ahead and have an amazing day for me, that would be extremely pigmented. And if you would like to interact with me betwixt uploads, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at NisiPisa. I also have a second channel called Extra NisiPisa where I post music and covers that I will link in the description. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to use code NisiPisa for 10% off at checkout at your local Blockbuster Video. Bye! Te pones celoso si me ves con otro, hago lo que quiero, yo solo me la gozo, te pones celoso. Unfortunately, celoso is kind of catchy, so I guess I have to give Eleonora her props for that. Sorry, cancel me, daddy. Gross.